Ladies and gentlemen, Kocosports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. That's right, it's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got yours truly here, flying solo, sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, boom, boom, here, shaking the room, live from the RVA, talking about Richmond, Virginia. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Smackdown, coming to you live from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Another episode in the books, and what can I say? Actually, I know exactly what to say. I'm going to ask you the question, what do you give it? Do you give it a win, a loss, or a tie, and why? Please put your questions, comments, and tell me specifically if you thought tonight's episode was a win, a loss, or a tie down here in the comments section, and let me know why. I'll be reading your questions and comments throughout the course of this review. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm going to give tonight's show a win. I think it was a very solid show, which kind of baffles me because Raw really wasn't all that well, so I had kind of low expectations for SmackDown, and I don't know if it's just because they, if the show was actually that good, or if my expectations were just so lowered that, you know, when they made some kind of effort, it was better by default. You know, it's like, it was one of those things, but overall, I was thoroughly entertained by the show. I was a little bummed out by the ending, but this is like the go-home show to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and to be honest, I'm going to give WWE actually just, I know, and it's kind of weird coming from me, but I'm going to give WWE just a little bit, and I do stress a little bit of credit for the build-up here. They only had 2 weeks, which me, I think, is just a ridiculous turnaround. I mean, I used to think 3 weeks was rough, but man, 2 weeks for this to build up hype for a pay-per-view, especially a gimmicky as hell pay-per-view. So I think WWE, with the time they've had, to be honest, haven't done half bad. Of course, they probably haven't done half good either, but hey, anyway, let's get down to it. Of course, we start out with Dean Ambrose coming down to the ring to talk about what happened on Raw. And I was like, oh, crap, another talking segment. But it's actually, but Dean Ambrose is somebody I like and someone I like to hear from. I kind of like to know what's going around in his head because he plays a very, very wonderful character. He kind of reminds me of a young Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, just knows a lot about ring psychology. And he's just so fucking smart because he realizes that the audience is going to have questions, you know, about his whole prison break on Raw. And you know, and then he just lays everything out. You know, he talked about how he got arrested. You know, it's like, oh, I was for assaulting a cameraman, and I was in jail. You know, and I've been there before. And it's a place you don't want to be. And it's like, you know, well, how did all this stuff come together? And he told it. I mean, yeah, it's a little far-fetched in the time period because I'm pretty sure if you or me got arrested on something, we wouldn't be able to get out of jail just that quick. Even, you know, even if it was like immediately. You know, it's like, okay, this is a little bit of an erroneous charge here. I don't think the cops will be willing to, you know, could spring you that quickly. But then again, what would I know? Thank God, knock on wood, never been arrested. Going to keep that streak going, hopefully. I don't know. I'm teamed up with Dave Coco. He's probably going to get my ass drug into something. So he lays it all out. You know, says, you know, talks about the YouTube video that was put out on WWE.com that shows Seth Rollins pushing the cameraman into Ambrose. Ambrose obviously thinks it's attack, hits the camera operator. He talks about how he gets one phone call, so that's how Roman Reigns knew to stall for time. And then he talked about how, you know, he talked with some cops there that, you know, realized once they saw this stuff that the charges against him were getting just dropped. I mean, there was no reason to hold them. And he talked about how they were fans, so he just signed some autographs, took some pictures, and they let him drive the paddy wagon back. So everything made sense. And it's like one of those, if you watched on Raw, you're just like, come on, guys, this is far-fetched. There's no way he broke out of prison, or excuse me, jail. I know there's a big difference here. There's no way that there's no way that you know, he broke out of jail, stole a paddy wagon, and a police officer's uniform, and, you know, showed up on Raw, and there's not going to be a penalty for it. Well, he explained everything quite well, in which it's the attention to little details. It's something I know they would never do this on Raw. And in fact, I don't think they're going to mention this on Raw again. But I mean, just little details like this. It's like, yeah, it's far fetched, but it's plausible. Everything makes sense. So props to Dean Ambrose for taking time to come down, build up the pay-per-view, for explaining everything, all the insanity, making everything have a purpose. So that was just a great opener, in my opinion. And speaking of great openers, guys, it was a lumberjack match. It was featuring two of the tag teams going to be participating in these 6-team elimination chamber match this Sunday for the WWE Tag Team titles. This bout featured the Lucha Dragons versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. Of course, you had the New Day, you had Los Matadores, you had the Ascension, you had the Primetime Players all acting as lumberjacks. Now, and again, this is another thing where SmackDown kind of surpasses my expectations. Normally, guys, whenever there's a lumberjack match, you run into a problem of the lumberjacks kind of go into business for themselves. It's, they realize they're on camera, so they try to hog up that TV time a little bit, one little bit at a time. They try to make it about them, try to get them over, try to get their feuds over. And in this one, that just really wasn't the case. I mean, it was a great change of pace. I mean, the lumberjacks actually just did what they were supposed to do. They stood in place. They didn't jaw with each other. There wasn't a massive brawl that broke out. No, guy falls out of the ring. They pick the guy back up and just throw him in the ring. No, they didn't throw him into the steps. They didn't throw him into each other. They didn't put the boots to him. No, they just picked him back up, rolled him back in the ring. It's crazy. Little things like that. I mean, it's just how refreshing that is. I mean, it's like a cage match. I mean, right now with WWE, a cage match to me means nothing because I know people always have ways of weaseling their way in. People always have a way of weaseling their way out. So to me, a cage match means nothing. Same thing with a lumberjack match. I'm like, okay, the lumberjacks are going to want to put the boots to the guys in the ring, or they're going to start fighting with each other. It's going to lead this massive brawl, and eventually it's going to lead to a count out, or somebody doing a high spot where they jump off the top rope out to the floor, and like 10 people catch a guy, and everybody takes a spill, yawn. No, in this case, I mean, it was all about the guys in the ring, which is the way it should be. The Lucha Dragons, talk about Kalisto and Sin Cara, and of course, Cesaro and Kidd. The match was actually looking pretty good. Oh, Tyson Kidd did a sweet move where he caught Kalisto and put him immediately in the sharpshooter. Great spot with that. Cesaro on fire, giving the European uppercuts in the multiple corners to Sin Cara. Again, the lumberjacks staying out of it, but there was a bit of a brief distraction from the outside. This allowed Kalisto to hit the Selena del Sol on Tyson Kidd. It really wasn't chaotic, but it was a fun match, and it got the teams over. You got to think that, wow, where are these, who's going to come out the winner? It feels like everybody's got a shot. Obviously, they're pushing, Cesaro and Kidd, they're the former champions. They kind of got screwed out of the title at the last pay-per-view. So now, this might be their time to get the titles back. And then here you got the scrappy Lucha Dragons. They're, you could say they're kind of under, I don't want to say complete underdogs, but I don't think, if I was to say, do you really think the Lucha Dragons are going to win the titles? A lot of you would probably go, probably not. But it makes them look good, and they look like a strong tag team. And plus, everybody else doesn't look ridiculous. So everybody looked great in this. And so I just think it was a great change of pace, and this was the match of the night, at least in my opinion. So, guys, tell me what you think about it. Jeff James is saying here on courtesy here on the Google Talks over on YouTube, is saying Ambrose is owning the TV time right now, as he should. I think he's a very underrated performer. And yeah, I mean, he can actually captivate an audience. I mean, he can keep you right there in the palm of his hand. I mean, he's just that fucking smart. I mean, and I'm not like trying to be a mark or anything, but I'm just saying he's very entertaining, and he knows what the audience needs to know and gives that to them. What the audience wants to see and gives that to him, and he keeps everything interesting, and he's not watered down. That was one of my initial worries there, Jeff, when they talked about the breakup of the Shield. I thought that Ambrose would be the #1 heel in the company. Roman Reigns would be the golden boy, and then Seth Rollins would fall by the wayside, maybe be forgotten about. And how fucking wrong I was on that one. Shit, I was way fucking off on that one. You know, you had Seth Rollins become probably one of the best bad guys in WWE right now, and Ambrose became a face, but stayed true to his character and it wasn't watered down, and the fans responded. So yeah, he's owning it. I mean, he fucking owns it. Next, we had R-Truth versus King Barrett. I was a little surprised about this one, too. Of course, both of these guys are going to be in the Elimination Chamber match this Sunday. This will be for the now vacated Intercontinental Championship. Both these guys tied it up in the ring. A good promo by R-Truth saying he puts the D in danger. You know, I'm not afraid of danger. Danger's afraid of me. You know, a little cheesy, but hey, I enjoy it. Barrett dominated a bulk of the opening portion of the match. I mean, granted, it was short, but Barrett dominated. It looked like he was about to set up for the bullhammer. He missed. Truth tried to hit a roll up, and I thought, okay, there we go. This is going to be it. He's going to get smacked with the bullhammer. No. He ducked the bullhammer, hit the lie detector, that straight shot down on Barrett, and got the win. And for me, that's surprising because R-Truth really doesn't win that many matches. And I think Truth desperately needed a win. He needed some kind of momentum. You just don't want to have people go into these matches, at least kayfabe-wise, thinking, well, these guys have absolutely no fucking chance to win. After watching this, Truth has got some momentum. He got a win. He's got some credibility going into this Sunday's pay-per-view. And I was like, wow, I was kind of surprised by that. But the celebration was short-lived. Sheamus came out and bro-kicked Truth and bro-kicked Barrett. So there you go. You know, 3 of your 6 competitors in that. Let's see. Then they talked about the whole Lana Rusev situation. You know, Rusev was wanting Lana to say, okay, I just want you to say 3 simple words. I was wrong. And, you know, try to do the whole, well, I own you, you know, you need to apologize. Lana standing up for herself. This would almost work, but WWE, we need to talk, guys. We really, really need to talk. This would almost be good, except for the fact that I think you just kind of fucked up this. You kind of fucked this up a little bit. Here's how you fucked it up. As soon as Rusev breaks up, or excuse me, Lana and Rusev break up, you immediately have her go in the ring and make out with Dolph Ziggler. Hey, much to the crowd's delight, everybody's getting into Lana. And, of course, if you read the dirt sheets, and I know you do because you're part of the internet infantry, and we're all a bunch of smart asses, you know that WWE is very much interested in making, like, Lana a face of the women, or I don't know if the women's division, like, not as far as a active wrestler, but as far as, like, a personality. They're looking at making her, I guess, one of the more featured personalities. And I think, you know, if you do this later, I think it's fine, but you can't have the whole, hey, I'm nobody's property. I'm an independent woman, you know, I have freedom here and you can't tell me what to do and you're not going to push me around. You're not going to, you know, keep me down in the dirt any longer. You know what? I don't know you a damn thing. We're over. And, you know, that's fine. You can do that. But don't, like, have her make out with Dolph Ziggler and basically essentially, you know, have the WWE tell women, well, we're just going to have her bounce around, between guys. You know, I think it sends, and I know I'm looking way too much into this. I know Coco would tell me to pump my fucking brakes right now. But I think what it is I think you're sending a bad message that, you know, to girls, it's like you're only valuable if you're bound, you know, if you got a man by your side. You know, I'm not saying that she shouldn't make out with Dolph Ziggler. I'm not saying she shouldn't hang around him. You know, I'm not saying that shouldn't be a love interest story. That's fine. If you want to have that, fine. But do that later. Let's establish Lana as, okay, I'm sick of this crap. I'm sick of this abuse. Because remember, domestic violence and abuse is a huge topic right now. I mean, ever since the whole Ray Rice fiasco, I mean, the whole no more, never again, no more silence, against domestic violence. Let's end domestic violence. Let's end abusive relationships. You can't have that message that have Lana go, well, I just broke up with you 10 minutes ago. Come here, Dolph. You can't do that. It makes no sense. Again, do it later, but I kind of want to see where this where they go with this. But right now, WWE, I think they just kind of fucked this up from the get-go. Maybe they can slide it into something, because she straight up said, like, oh, we don't have me and Ziggler, we don't have a relationship. Yeah, right. Because I just randomly make out with people that, anyway, that's a different story for a different day, kids. Well, speaking of Rusev, he had a match. Again, this is actually going to be 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this will be 5 now of the competitors in the Elimination Chamber Intercontinental title match. You have Ryback versus Rusev. Now, this match, actually, the match itself would not have been in itself anything special, but it's what happened around this match is what made it special. Rusev was injured in this match. It's been confirmed. Rusev has been pulled from house shows. He's being replaced by Kane. So if anybody happens to be in the North Carolina area this weekend, you will not see Rusev perform. It'll be Kane in the place. I think he's going to be wrestling John Cena in cage matches up and down the East Coast. Anyway, Rusev, there was a spot where Ryback dumped him to the outside. Rusev came down on his ankle the wrong way. You could tell he was hobbling around. This turns out this was a legit injury. Now, to Rusev's credit, he did follow up the match. He hobbled around and did the best he could. They went, even with an injury, they went about 12 minutes. So I think once they realized that Rusev was hurt legitly, they needed to assess that, so they needed to end the match. So they took it to the outside. They had Rusev throw Ryback into the ring post, and the referee called for disqualification. So I think that this was just kind of a impromptu ending. It's like, hey, I'm hurt. We're going into a pay-per-view here. We need to check this out. The trainers have checked him out. I believe he's going to be fine, obviously, but I do not believe he's going to make Elimination Chamber. So that 6th spot is up in the air now. But before the injury, it was still a decent match. 2 powerhouses going at it. Ryback showing off his strength with that extended vertical suplex. Had Ryback up in the air for extended period of time. I think it's actually worth your time to watch. And I'll say this: I met Ryback a couple of weeks ago when he went through Richmond on the media tour. I even got to see him work out because he actually popped up in the gym that I actually belong to. And let me tell you something: that's a cornbread-fed motherfucker. He's huge. Trust me, I ain't kidding. He dwarfed me. He dwarfed a lot of the reporters and personalities that I work with. He's the real deal. It's worth checking out, and I like if you're kind of curious about the Intercontinental title match, which we're guaranteed a new champion Elimination Chamber, it's worth checking out. At least in my opinion, it is. Next here, we had the women's match. We had Paige versus Naomi. Of course, this was a kind of a return from last week when Paige and Naomi started scrapping in the ring. Nikki Bella came out and laid both of them out. Again, this was a short match here. Paige, she started hammering away on Naomi. You had Naomi. She made a bit of a comeback using the ring post as a weapon. I like the end when Paige went over there and just kicked Tamina Snuka right in the damn face. Like, you could tell that Tamina's getting ready to interfere, and while you got Naomi over here just kind of slightly incapacitated after a clothesline, just kicked the shit out of Tamina, then goes over, scoops up. Naomi hits the Rampage, gets the win. Bails out of the ring, obviously, to escape the to escape a possible 2-on-1 situation with Naomi and Tamina. The Bella Twins music hits, and then you see both the Bella Twins come out on the ramp. Nikki's holding up her title, and hey, it's good to see. I guess it's good to see Brie back. Even though I believe she's been injured, but it's good to see her back. Because look, I may not like a lot of people, but you don't want to see them get hurt. I mean, that's not cool. And it's so obviously hyping up here. I don't know. You're looking at this, you're thinking Paige may be the favorite to win. But what do you guys think? Who's your favorite in that Divas match? Firing up here. Next, Michael Cole brought out Kevin Owens and asked him about what if he had something to prove against John Cena. And I love the fact that Owens corrected, Michael Cole, saying, you know what, yes, I have been in the WWE for 2 weeks, but I've been in this business for 15 years, and Cena has something to prove to me. And he says, yeah, I know all about it. 15-time world champion, 11 WrestleManias, 2 Royal Rumble wins, and 75 crappy T-shirt changes, and 1,000 ways to suck. I love that. I love that. To me, it's Owens. I don't want to say he looked nervous. It just didn't feel natural what he was doing, though. I mean, yeah, he was going through it. He even showed, footage of him beating up Sami Zayn at TakeOver, particularly the power bomb on the ring apron, saying, this is, what I did to someone that's like my best friend, someone that I cared about. Imagine what I'm going to do to John Cena, who I don't care about. Ooh, what's up, Coco? Coco's watching live, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure down here in the comment section to say, hey, Coco, what's up, buddy? So, anyway, just to me, I'm not going to say it wasn't a bad segment. I mean, it was good, Kevin Owens. It just felt like it wasn't natural. I don't know if he was nervous or if that promo was heavily scripted and they had to, edit it down or whatever, but it just felt a little odd. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're a Kevin Owens fan, don't think that I'm saying, oh, this was a bad, he looks bad, he sounded horrible. No, he didn't. It just, I don't know, something about his body language that just kind of, tweaked in my head. Just something didn't feel, something was kind of off, and I don't know what. But all in all, I think it accomplished what it needed to. I mean, it got him over as a bad guy. He's going up, he's got no fear going up against John Cena. He's not going to back down. And if you've also read the interwebs, you'll know that Kevin Owens is also booked to participate in some more Raw's past Elimination Chamber. So it's interesting to see. I think they're going to follow up on this, to be honest. At least that's what that indicates to me. That if you're going to book Kevin Owens for some more Raws, maybe some more appearances, I've got to think this is going to maybe be like a long-term story. Maybe he'll be part of that. WWE's always looking for that hot summer angle, and it's almost June, so it's about time maybe to throw that into gear, something that'll get us through into SummerSlam. Kevin Owens may be a part of it, but then again, it may be Brock Lesnar because he's supposed to come back sometime in at the end of June and go starting in July. Maybe his suspension will be up, or they'll lift the suspension. I think his suspension was indefinite. So the authority would have to find some kind of reason, or there would have to be some kind of legal wrangling to get Lesnar's suspension lifted kayfabe-wise. So why not? But I definitely think Kevin Owens could definitely be part of a hot summer angle if given the chance. I think a lot of NXT people, if given the chance, can blow the doors off WWE. I mean, one of my personal ideas for a hot summer angle. I just saw one picture and read an interview, and I just kind of developed this whole idea is why not the 4 horsewomen of WWE? And most people are like scratching their head. What do you mean the 4 horsewomen of NXT, excuse me. And I'm talking about Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and Becky. Those, they had a picture. I mean, this was just like for cameras, and this isn't for like on-air stuff. It was just those, 4 women together holding up the 4 fingers, kind of get the idea from Ronda Rousey's clique, which I think would be good because, I mean, it kind of drags it in, has that, has like that pop culture, has that current event, type feel. And I think that would be a great angle is have, these NXT women come up on Raw and try to embarrass the Divas division, saying, you know, we're the real women wrestlers. We're tired of, you know, you embarrassing eye candy. You know, we're better than you, and we're tired of, you know, and we don't want to come up here and have to play by your rules, but we're better than you. And I think that could go all summer long. I mean, I would love to see that, and it would be different. It'd be something people weren't expecting. But, oh, but boom, boom, you know, women's wrestling is not that good. Well, this would make women's wrestling good. I mean, it would draw, I mean, it's just kind of a hot feud. I mean, can you imagine the Bella Twins feuding against Charlotte and Bayley, and then you could have, imagine Paige and Becky Lynch, or better yet, Paige and Sasha Banks. I mean, that would tear the fucking house down. I mean, you could see some people. You could maybe throw Emma into the middle of this. I mean, the sky would be the limit with that. But anyway, we get to the main event time, and we have Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose taking on Seth Rollins and Kane. You know, guys, I'm really tired of seeing this match. I've seen this match like 500 times. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but I've seen this match more times than I would care to. But yet I'm having to watch it again. So pretty much what you think happened. Dean Ambrose was taking a lot of the flack. Roman Reigns gets the hot tag. It looked like Reigns was going to have the match won, so J&J Security jumps in. This causes some disqualification, so Reigns and Ambrose win. They kind of clean house. The Authority brings out the New Day because fuck logic, that's why. And so both Rollins and Kane kind of sit back, and while Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose beat the crap out of the New Day, hitting off their respective finishing maneuvers. Then you had Rollins hit a pedigree on Ambrose, and Kane, I believe he had a choke slam or something. Anyway, he took out Roman Reigns. So boom, there you go. There's the suspense going into the Elimination Chamber. So all in all, I'm still going to give this show a win. You know, I think if you're a big WWE fan, check it out. If you're kind of frustrated with Raw and you want to kind of hit like the Cliff Notes, maybe actually see some wrestling for a change and have it digestible bits, this 2-hour show is better than the 3-hour show you see a few days earlier. Match of the night, Lucha Dragons and Cesaro and Kid in that Lumberjack match, definitely worth checking out. R-Truth and King Barrett, that was a little bit of a shocker as far as, you know, Truth winning and hyping up the Intercontinental title match. Ryback versus Rusev. I guess if you're a big fan of the Lana storyline, maybe you'd be interested in it, but I think if you're like me, you kind of watch NASCAR for the car crashes, you'll probably want to watch this match to see the exact spot where Rusev got hurt, and now he's out of the Elimination Chamber, so that'll be worth checking out if you're into Car Crash TV. Paige and Naomi, short, but not bad. Not bad. I love watching Paige hit the Rampage. That's a great finishing maneuver. The Kevin Owens interview, well worth watching, especially if you're a Kevin Owens fan, if you're a fan of NXT. No interruptions by John Cena. He just goes out there, talks shit, and then walks out. Great. Main event, you probably want to skip because you've seen it 100 times already, and you already knew what was going to happen before. By the time the music hit to send out Kane and Rollins, you knew exactly what the hell was going to happen in this match. It was so fucking predictable. So, to be honest, I would skip like the last 15 minutes, which is the main event. So, worth checking out. Now, I would kind of give you my predictions on Elimination Chamber and what's coming up this Sunday from Texas, but me and Dave are going to do that a little bit later. We're going to be doing a pay-per-view profits, and for those of you who may not know what a pay-per-view profits is, that is our pick'em contest where Dave and I we're going to look at the card, we're going to give our thoughts on the rundown here, and we're going to predict who we think is going to win, and we encourage you to play along, and we're going to have a little pick'em contest, and the person with the most correct wins will be the winner and therefore the pay-per-view profit. We're going to do that show within the next few hours as soon as Dave Coco is free. We've got plenty of stuff going on you need to check out. We've got tons of reviews up already. We've got our Lucha Underground review. And if you didn't watch goddamn Lucha Underground this week, first of all, shame on yourself. But you can redeem yourself. Go watch it, because I'm telling you, it's got the most fucked up ending in all of professional wrestling history. That's right. I'm going there. I'm saying it. I even, like a friend of mine, he's a big wrestling fan. He's not huge into Lucha Underground, but I sent him a link to that show, and I was like, dude, you have to watch this. Watch this all the way through, beginning to end, because it's got the most fucked up ending I have ever seen in professional wrestling. It's like, okay, cool, I have to check it out. I'm waiting to see on his response, and I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it. So go watch Lucha Underground and check out our review. Dave and Rob got together, did a decent review. You know, it was okay, but, you know, it needs more boom boom. Dave and I also reviewed NXT, gave our thoughts on that. Dave and I completely disagreed on that one. He gave it a weak loss. I gave it a weak win. We got to explain how we came to polar opposite conclusions. Definitely worth checking out. And, of course, Dave Coco reviewed Monday Night Raw. God, almost went 2 hours on that review. Worth checking out if you want to kill some time. But anyway, you can always find our reviews at Kocosports.com. That's KOCOsports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. That includes boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, taekwondo, kickboxing, judo. If you can get your nose broke doing it, we got you covered there on the site. Be sure to check out our news and gossip section, including the big shocker coming on in Destination America, announcing that starting this Wednesday, they're going to start airing Ring of Honor episodes. Apparently, it's going to be a 4-hour block, because you'll have Ring of Honor, 1-hour episode of that, followed up by a 2-hour episode of Impact Wrestling, then a replay of the Ring of Honor episode. We talk about the future of Impact. We talk about Dixie Carter. We talk about all that. Definitely need, you can find it here on YouTube. So like, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Man, we got everything covered there where you're home. And then a little bit later this weekend, we're going to give a review of the Elimination Chamber. At least somebody here at Kocosports.com will. So be sure to check us out. And thank each and every one of you for joining us and liking and subscribing to us. I'm going to check the comment section one last time. I didn't see anything, but I'm going to double check just in case. Nope, there's nothing new there. But if anything comes in right now and I miss it, I apologize. But we'll take your questions for a Stuff the Idiot maybe at a later date. And of course, if you want us to do a Stuff the Idiot specifically for you, you can always buy our T-shirts. It's on the front page at Kocosports.com. The bulk of that money is going to go to pay for the T-shirt. A little bit of it goes to help support the site. But if you buy a T-shirt, Dave, myself, Rob, anybody, or whoever you want, we'll answer any 5 questions that you want to ask. I mean, we'll do a video specifically for you. So be sure to buy the T-shirt. Support Kocosports.com. And thank you very much. So this is going to be a goodbye for right now. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe to us. We're going to go back live in just a few hours and do pay-per-view profits and get your picks ready. So this is Boo Boo. And for my partner, Dave Coco, I am over.